Julius Salisbury.
There was Julius Salisbury was probably the biggest gambler, layoff man, along with a guy by the name of Fifi London.
Yeah, didn't they call him Lord
Lord
Salisbury?
Salisbury.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, he was a good guy. He took, like, if a showgirl would die and she didn't have a burial site or something like that, he would bury her. And he had a good heart.
When you say showgirl, these were the
It's showgirl. Yeah,
girls of the block,
yeah,
right?
girls on the block, right? And he was Lord Salisbury, but the, uh, the government was after him for years and years and years, and finally they got a conviction against him, and he was given a sentence of 15 years, and this is for gambling and being a backer. I mean, they really came down hard. But he remained out on bail pending the appeal to the United States Court of Appeal of his conviction. And he lived in the apartment building over top of the Prime Rib downtown. Um, there came a time when his appeal was turned down, and he found out about it. He had an inside line somehow to the United States Court of Appeals in Richmond. He found out about his appeal being turned down before the FBI even found out. So he got out of there, and the FBI was like 20 minutes behind to try to get him, and he had long gone. And he disappeared like forever, but that's the official version. And what happened, I got to know Julius well. I prosecuted him years before that, and I got the first conviction against him, and which was also overturned because I came down with an indictment that said he conspired with persons unknown. Well, the point is, we knew who he was conspiring with. We just didn't want to name them in the indictment for fear that something might happen to them. So, and then it was reversed, and through a long process, I became friends with him. I liked him very much. He was a good guy. But in any event, Julius got out of there probably 20 minutes to a half hour before the FBI arrived. The version that I know to be true, that not that many people know to be true, he had it set up. He went across the Canadian border, the U.S. and Canadian border, in a horse van. The horses in the van behind him, and he was underneath the horses with straw over top of him. So he got to Canada, and then from Canada, I understand later, he went to Lebanon, and from Lebanon, he went to Israel and lived happily ever after.
Good for him.
Well, good for him is right. He became the most wanted man. The FBI was just so embarrassed that he had a better intake into the U.S. Court of Appeals as to what happened to his case than the FBI did. Now, as the years went on, if you mentioned Julius Salisbury, you could have gone out and killed 20 people, and they would give you a deal if you told them where Julius was and how he got it. I mean, they were so embarrassed for years and years and years. So that's basically it. I mean, he